僕らは何回だってきっと僕らは何回だってきっとそう何年だって
Hello everyone! Welcome back to today's video. Today, we will be learning about superlative adjectives and also we will be playing a board game. So get your student's book, a few materials, and your ears and eyes ready because you are going to learn something new or you're going to revise something you already know. Are you excited? Let's get started. Hi everyone, Teacher Putri here. We are going to learn about superlative adjectives. But before that, there are some things you need to touch on first. Let's see what we'll be talking about today. These are the topics that we will touch on today. Number 1. What are adjectives? Number 2. Comparative and superlative adjectives. Number 3. Superlative adjectives. Number 4. A question and answer session. Now that you know what we will be touching on, let's get started with topic number 1. What are adjectives? Anybody care to take a guess? Well, if you're new here, let me tell you what are adjectives. And if you're not, now let's revise on adjectives. The textbook definition of adjective is that an adjective is a word in linguistics that modifies a noun or noun phrase, or characterizes its subject. Its grammatical role is to change the information provided by the noun. Confusing? Obviously, that is a textbook definition. It's too long, too lengthy, and too much words. Let's see the simple definition, shall we, of adjective. The simple definition of an adjective is a noun or a pronoun is described by an adjective. An adjective describes what type, how many, or which one. To make it more easier for you to understand, an adjective is used to describe a noun. A noun is a word that refers to a thing, a person, an animal, a place, a quality, idea, or action. A thing is like a book, a person, Teacher Putri, animal, a cat. So these nouns, to describe them, you have to use an adjective. So an adjective describes what type, how many, which one. To simplify it even more, here is the adjective breakdown. What type? The adjective you use is, for example, happy or brave. How many? An adjective that you will use is more, two. Which one? An adjective you can use is this or that. Hope you're catching up so far. Now we'll move on to the second topic. Now that you know what an adjective is, you have to know what is a comparative and what is a superlative adjective. You also have to know what are the difference between these two. And that is what we will be talking about in this part. Comparative and superlative adjectives. What are the differences? So what exactly is the difference? Comparative adjectives are a type of adjective used to highlight the difference between two objects or two nouns, while superlative is actually used when you want to describe a highest degree of the noun or a lesser or least degree of the noun. It's okay if you're confused for now. We will touch on it deeper as we go further. Let's touch on comparative adjective. The textbook definition of a comparative adjective is that a comparative adjective is one that compares two individuals or objects. Comparative adjectives are used to say that one person or item displays a higher level of quality or is a better example of a quality than another. Comparative adjectives include words like taller, smarter, and slower. The simple definition is that comparative adjectives are words that are used to compare one noun to another. Compare one noun to another noun means two nouns. Only two items are being compared in this case. Only two items, not three, not four. Only two. Someone might say, for example, the bluebird is angrier than the robin. Do you understand? When using comparative adjectives, you do not compare a lot of things at one time. You only compare two items. Take a look at this chart. You can see the difference in comparative adjectives. We will skim through it together. First picture of the girl and boy on the left. Tall is the adjective. The comparative adjective is taller. Next photo. Small is the adjective. Smaller is the comparative adjectives. Light, lighter. Heavy, heavier. Now let's try to make sentences. Jane is tall. Alex is taller than Jane. Max's dog is small. Anissa's dog is smaller than Max's dog. The paper is light. The feather is lighter. These boxes are heavy. This box is heavier. Now let me give you a quick breakthrough on the comparative adjectives. One syllable adjectives. You add an ER at the end. Long, longer. Big, bigger. Hot, hotter. Large, larger. For a two-syllable adjective, you add more or ER at the end, depending on the word. Honest, more honest. Famous, more famous. Happy, happier. Crazy, crazier. Three or more syllables, you add more before the adjective. More expensive, more confident, more beautiful, more difficult. Lastly, we have the irregular adjectives. This is when you don't add anything before or after, you change the word completely, since it's irregular. Good, better, bad, worse, far, farther, little, less, many, more, far, further. And that's on comparative adjective. Now let's give you a simple definition on superlative adjective before we touch on it in more detail. The textbook definition of superlative adjective is that a superlative adjective is a comparative adjective that describes something as being of the highest degree or extreme. When comparing three or more individuals or things, we utilize superlative adjectives. Superlative adjectives include the words biggest and fastest. The simple definition, on the other hand, is a superlative adjective is an adjective or adverb that is used to compare three or more items. An adjective's superlative form is used to show if something has a quality to the greatest or least degree. We will touch on it in more detail in the third part. However, this is just a little preview on superlative adjective. Before I begin touching on superlative adjectives, let me show you the degrees of comparison to make it even easier for you to imagine or understand. Positive degree, smart. Comparative degree, of the two, smarter. Superlative degree, of the three, smartest. Let's make sentences. Max is smart. Max is smarter than Tyler. Max is smartest among the three. Or Max is smartest among Tyler and Rex. Let's get to superlative adjective. Superlative adjectives. We are finally here. Let's talk about it in more detail. Let us go through the definition again. A superlative is an adjective or adverb that is used to compare three or more items. An adjective's superlative form is used to show if something has a quality to the greatest or least degree. Let's break it down. A superlative is an adjective to compare three or more items, while comparative is only to compare two. Superlative is to compare three or more. This is when a situation has to compare three or more peoples or three or more items. To show if something has a quality to the greatest or least degree. For example, using the word youngest is the least degree. However, using the word oldest is the greatest degree. This form of adjective is called superlative adjective. Let's go into deeper with charts. When faced with a one-syllable adjective, you add est at the end of the word. For example, long, longest, large, largest, hot, hottest, big, biggest. For a two-syllable adjective, you add most or est at the end. Honest, most honest. Famous, most famous. Narrow, narrowest. Gentle, gentlest. However, there is a time when a two-syllable adjective ends with a y. You change the y and add iest. You remove the y and add iest. Happy, happiest. Crazy, craziest. Just like comparative adjective, when met with three or more syllables, you add most instead of more. You add most. Expensive, most expensive. Popular, most popular. Beautiful, most beautiful. Difficult, most difficult. And lastly, irregular adjectives. When met with an irregular, you change the word completely. Not adding most, not adding est or iest. You change the word completely. Good, best, many, most, bad, worst, little, least, far, farthest, far, furthest. Now let me show you a little more example for you to understand it even more. As seen on the screen, we have superlatives, short adjectives. Short adjectives. Usually, the spelling rule, normally you just add est. For example, slow, the slowest. Fast, the fastest. Tall, the tallest. However, when ending with an e, you just add st instead of est. You maintain the e and just add st. Large, the largest. Nice, the nicest. When ending in a consonant plus y, you remove the y and change it into an I and add est. Remove the y, add an I and est. Hungry, consonant R, remove y, becomes the hungriest. Happy, consonant P, remove the y, the happiest. Funny, consonant N, remove the y, the funniest. And lastly, when ending in a vowel plus a consonant, you double the consonant and add est. You double the consonant and add est. Big, vowel I. G is the consonant, double it, becomes the biggest. Fat, vowel A. Consonant T, double it, the fattest. And last but not least, fit. Consonant T, double it, becomes the fittest. For superlatives long adjectives, it is easier because all you have to do is add most. Helpful, the most helpful. Polite, the most polite. Cheerful, the most cheerful. Delicious, the most delicious. Popular, the most popular. Expensive, the most expensive. Interesting, the most interesting. And that's all you need to know about superlatives adjectives. Let's give you an example of everything so you have a clear mind. Look at the words on the screen. Difficult, more difficult, the most difficult. The first girl, she's holding one book. Difficult. Second girl, she's holding more books, more difficult. Third girl, she's holding the most book, the most difficult. Last example before we do the question and answer session. Curly is the adjective. Curlier is the comparative. Curliest is the superlative. Let's try to make sentences, shall we? The girl with the orange hair. Beth. Beth has curly hair. The girl with the brown hair. Alice. Alice hair is curlier than Bet. The girl with the red hair. Lucy. Lucy has the curliest hair here. Lucy has the curliest hair among the other girls. I hope you understand so far. Now let's get to the question and answer. It's time to test your understanding about the topic. Fill in the blanks with a suitable superlative adjective. Number 1. Dato' Lee Chong-wei is the good blank badminton player in Malaysia. Usain Bolt is the fast blank man in the universe. Habib Nurmagomedov is the strong blank man in the MMA championships. The blank skillful football player in the world is Cristiano Ronaldo. Pause the video and try to fill in the answers. If you got 10 over 10, congratulations. And if you didn't, never mind, try again. Let's move on to the second exercise. Look at the picture and complete the sentences. Holly, William, Sarah, Peter. Holly is the blank person in the family. William is the blank person in the family. Sarah is the blank person in the family. Peter is the blank person in the family. William is blank person in the family. Sarah is blank person in the family. The adjective is at the end of the sentence. Pause the video and try to fill in the blanks. Congratulations again if you get a 10 over 10. And also again, if you did not, that's okay. Good job. And if you want, you can try again. Congratulations on learning a new topic, and congratulations if you're revising a topic you already know. I hope you learned something. Now let's move on to our fun project, building and playing our board game. Please get your student's book and turn to page 100. So, as you already saw in the last video, we are going to play a board game based on your student's book, page 100. Here is the board game. So we can go and play it the easy way, and that is just playing it on your student's book. All you have to do is create a little towns play or a little piece for you to play. But at Teacher Putri's Knowledge World, we don't do boring, we don't do easy. We only do fun projects. So what exactly are we going to do right now? We are going to make a bigger or a more creative and nicer board game based on the board game we already have here. So let's see, shall we? What do we need? First, obviously, you need your student's book. Open to page 100. You have it open? Good. Next, we are going to need a few papers. A few blank papers or colored papers, anything that is good or anything that you like, but I'm just going to use a blank paper, ruler, some colored pens or normal pens, tape, glue, and lastly, scissors. And as always, be careful around scissors. If you can't do it yourself, try to find an adult to look or help you use it. Right now, we're actually going to take a look at page 100. And as you can see, from start to finish, there is 9 stops that you have to go through. Like, which is faster, which is the biggest planet, which is stronger. So we are actually, you can print out your student's book, and you cut it and paste it onto a new paper. Paste it onto a new paper. That is way number 1. Or number 2, which is what I'm going to do, is actually, I'm just going to make my own boxes and write my own titles and stops here. So I'm gonna write down start, which is faster, with my own colored pencils instead of just cutting and pasting based on your student's book. It'll look nicer, it'll look more me. So which part do you want to do? Do you have your decision? Great! So now let's get started with way number 2, which is making our own pretty and creative board game based on page 100. So all we need is actually 9 boxes. Oh, sorry, 10 boxes. There is 10 boxes, and the start and also finish, which is 12 boxes. You can do any shapes you like: circle, square, heart, triangle, and go as creative as you like. I'm probably not gonna draw the animals here though, because I'm not very good at drawing animals. So we will just change that with something else. Okay, so everyone, please write properly and follow exactly, so we all can have the same board game when we're playing it after this, alright?
進んでゆく未来はこの手の中に Shake your heart, shake your beat 届けてみせるよ Jump, jump 焦らないジェネレーションを君と One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, let's go! 開くと思い込んでた僕に愛する喜びを教えてくれた二人でいるから未来が膨らんでくすぼめた肩をそっと抱き寄せよ美しい揺らめきを確かな光にしたい恐れるものは何もなかったあの日そうさ未完成な僕らはすれ違うなんて思わずに果てなく広がる空を見つめたでも えて歩き出すのさ夢のありがもし君のことがわからなくなったって嫌いにはなれずに漂う心疑う気持ちと信じてる境界線きっと選ぶのは後者なのだろう目指したい光はもう
Now that you have made or finished creating your board game, now let's play. Here are the instructions. You have to get from start to finish. You have to get through 10 tiles, and on each tile there is a question. You have to answer the question. The player with the most correct answer wins the game. Here is an example. If you land on tile number 1, which is faster, the horse or the cheetah? You have to answer, the cheetah is faster than the horse. Another example is, if you land on tile number 8, who's the oldest? Tom, Fred, or Kelly? You have to answer, Fred is the oldest, or Fred is the oldest among Tom and Kelly. The player with the most correct answer wins the game. Good luck, everybody!
明日世界は終わるんだって君にはもう会えないんだってまたいつかって手を振ったって叶わないんだよ仕方ないね明日世界は終わるんだってそれならもうその時まで何度でもずっと好きな音を鳴らそう薄暗闇に包まれた見覚えのない場所目を覚ますここは夜のない世界今日で終わる世界そんな日にあなたに出会った好きにして